All right, so real quickly, I want to teach you guys how to make a bar graph or a column graph on Google Sheets. Now, Google Sheets is like a imitation, really lame version of Microsoft Excel, which is a really important data analysis software that if you work in business at some point in your life or something like that, you will definitely use that software. So it's good to kind of get a feel for some of this stuff, get some practice with this stuff. And so I'm going to try to show you throughout the year a couple cool little tricks since it is 2019. So we got to make sure we're kind of learning how to do some of this stuff. Nas, you paying attention? All right, perfect. So here we go. First off, we're trying to figure out what it looks like for a large amount of students in terms of when their birthdays are. So let's just say I've gone around and surveyed a bunch of students. I've collected data. So what I have typed out here is I have typed out the different months, and in each box, so if you want to start in box A1, you can. Sometimes I just come down, so I'm working more in the middle of my screen, and that's up to you guys. It's just a personal preference. So I typed in the months: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And then, obviously, I'm just kind of made this data up. You guys will have actual data you collected. I typed in the number of birthdays out of, say, the 200 people that I surveyed that were in January, February, March, April. And there are easy ways to navigate, like by typing or pressing the right arrow. That helps me go to the right, or left arrow to the left. I can go down. So I can use the arrow keys, or I can use the mouse and click on that square. Either one works out just fine. And if I type something into a square, usually hitting enter will bump it down or over automatically. Something else I can do to make it look nice, as you notice, if I come up here where my clicker shows this kind of sideways arrow, and I click on that, it'll automatically resize that column to fit the word and the number. So same thing here, it's going to shrink that automatically. Same thing there. It just tightens things up. Makes them look kind of nice. And so I'm going to do that because I'm kind of a snob when it comes to things looking really good. I want things to look good. And if I make a mistake or do something wrong, I can always come back and hit the undo button. And that's like my get out of jail free card. Lets me kind of just correct my mistakes without really knowing what they were. Now, some of the things I'm going to do to make this look pretty. If I highlight all these blocks, and I come up here, right now we're aligned to the right, it looks like, and I'm going to go and center everything. See how much cleaner and neater that looks? And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to the borders, little borders box, and I want to make these nice and bordered, put these in a nice box, and maybe I'll even make this look a little bit bigger, maybe size 12 font. Actually, let's go back to 10 because I already made my columns a certain width. So let's go back to 10. There we go. Voila. We're in good shape. Okay, now, so that's something we could really easily kind of copy and paste to our Word document and make look nice. Here's how we go about making this column graph. So if I come over here and I drag and highlight over all this data as listed like this and come up to the Insert button, I can do that, or I believe clicking on this will also allow me to insert a chart, either coming up here and going to Chart, or coming to this little button that looks like a little column chart for us. And I click on that, and voila, out pops a chart. Now, it just assumes and gives me a pie chart in this case. Well, I don't actually want a pie chart. I want to change the type of chart. So I'm going to come up here to the chart type. I'm going to click on this pull down window, and I think we want for this a column chart. And I tend to like the vertical columns. It kind of shows high and low and things like that. So I'm going to click on this, and voila, there we go. So as you can see, I have the certain month over here down on the bottom, which is nice. I have the number of like how tall those columns are here. And really the only other thing I'd want to do is maybe go into the customize section. That's up over here, and do things like put a chart title. And if I want to, I could change the style of the chart. I could change color, change the background. I can make it like 3D. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I don't know what maximize means. That just makes it really big. But I kind of like the 2D. It's easier to print. So we're in good shape there. But I do know that I need to give my chart a title. It's really important that we give our chart a title. So chart title, I tend to like a chart that's, well, kind of on the chart title right there. So here we go. Let's title our chart. What do we want to name it? Let's just say I don't know, student birth months. Or how about when were students at Central born? And again, that's maybe not a great title. You can mess around with that and do what you want. I can come over here and make that, put it in the middle. All right. What if I want to maybe label my vertical axis? My horizontal axis has the months on it. That's pretty self-explanatory. But maybe I kind of want to label this vertical axis, and I probably want to call this maybe number of students, right? So I can go number of students. Right? Voila. Now that looks good. And I can play around and do different things with that. But that's kind of a general idea. If I ever want to go back to kind of messing with that, I can come up here and I can do edit chart again, and that the whole thing will pop up and I'll be able to go down through all these different customizable things and mess around with different stuff. Okay? But that's kind of ready to go where I can now take this, I can do right click, and I can, let's see, let's file or edit. Sorry, we can edit, we can copy this graph, and then we could paste it onto, say, a Google Docs where we have a lot of our other information for our report that we could kind of put there and finalize. So that's kind of a good tutorial of how to do a nice, basic, simple bar graph on Google Sheets or even Microsoft Excel. It's not going to be that much different. And I'll show you guys some more tricks as we get into things. So good work. Hopefully this is helpful.